because sometimes life is a jumbled up mess. It then turns into this beautiful outcome. But how you get from this jumbled up mess to this beautiful result is by trusting the process and enjoying the moment. Mental health is health. So it shouldn't be treated as this like crazy thing, right? If someone opens up and starts talking about how they feel, we shouldn't like treat them any differently or make them feel like there's some social outcast. We are all humans, and even though we are all unique and different in our own ways, we are all the same in a lot of ways as well. The Prime Minister, for example, I would completely get rid of minimum wage, and instead that minimum wage now become the cost of living. I don't understand how fucking hard that is to understand. Alrighty. Welcome back to Off the Record. I'm your host, Jordan Rance. I'm doing something crazy here today. Let's just start it off on a bang. Started with the craziness going on. First off, I've changed up the camera angle just a little bit. Let me know, either in the comments down below on YouTube or Spotify, or just send me a fucking DM on Instagram what you think about this. I've purposely framed it exactly how it is because I really like how the background looks. Now, obviously, if you were just listening to this podcast, you can't see what the background looks like. So that's why go watch it on YouTube. And you know what? I'm just actually thinking right here, right now. I just said you can leave a comment on Spotify as well, but I realized I only do audio on Spotify. But that reminds me that I need your opinion, right? Viewers, listeners, all that stuff. I need your opinion on if you would like to start seeing the video version of the podcast go on Spotify as well, because right now it's only on YouTube. Everywhere else is audio only. I kind of like that the way it is, but obviously, I mean, one of the biggest reasons why I do this podcast is for your entertainment pleasure. So let me know what you think. I do have to admit, I like this, what's going on here. I'm using you call it like a film technique. I don't know. It's called the rule of thirds. Basically, it's like I'm a little off-centered. I don't know how to describe it, but it just looks good. And I hope that translates. I hope that you also think it looks good. Like I said, let me know. I look a little different, hey? I look a little different from last week and any other week before. I got new glasses, which may not seem like a fucking huge deal to anyone else, but honestly, it's a pretty fucking big deal to me for multiple reasons, because I have had glasses ever since I was like 8. So pretty much my whole life. I'm 23 now, so over half of my life. I think I did the math right there. So always getting new glasses is a pretty big deal, but this time specifically, I got the new Ray-Ban Meta glasses, the fucking smart glasses, which are just mind-blowing to say the least. I can fucking send texts on my glasses. I can talk on the phone on my glasses. I can, it's like the Siri type deal where, I could just say, I don't want to say it right now, but you say, "Hey, Meta." Okay, I wanted to really slow it down because I didn't want it to trigger. I didn't want it to like come up. But you say those two words, and it'll ask you like, "How can I help you today?" or whatever the fuck. And you can. It's very helpful. You can listen to music too, set timers. It's so practical. Then again, also I was kind of making a joke to my mom because she's also getting these glasses as well. Just waiting for them to come in. And, I remember I'd spoken on the phone for the first time on these glasses just the other day. And while it's cool, it's also just kind of funny because you'll be, say you're like at the grocery store or wherever, right? You're just talking away on your glasses. no, like, these are fairly new, right? Like, not a ton of people have it, right? It's different than like AirPods. So it's just kind of funny that like there'll probably be times where I'm in public and I'm talking on the phone on my glasses, and it'll just look like I'm like a fucking crazy person talking to myself. I hope it doesn't look that way. I mean, it probably will, but honestly, I don't give a fuck. Actually, you know what? That's so funny. Last night, that first instant happened to me. I was at the grocery store. That's so funny. Like, I didn't actually even think about that moment, but like, it just randomly came to mind. Yeah, last night I was at the grocery store. I was just picking up some fucking water. So I get these like, I have them right here. This big jug of water, which people always make jokes about with me, because it's like just an absurd amount of water to be carrying around everywhere. But you know what? Hydration is important, people. I said that weird. Hydration is important, people. And I need to take my own advice, because there's plenty of times where my water intake, my hydration is not that great. But you know what? I'm working on it, and with this giant jug of water, it helps. Anyways, first tangent. There you go. But I was at the grocery store. I was picking that up and talking to my friends on Discord. If anyone knows what that is, I don't know. If you know what it is, great. If you don't, it's just like a fucking voice and video calling app. I feel the need to over-explain a lot. You might have already been able to tell that. But I was talking on like this, like the call with them, and the audio was going through my glasses. And I remember I was at the self-checkout, and there's like the attendants there, kind of just like seeing if anyone needs help or whatever. And I remember I'm talking away, and one of the fucking workers comes up to me, like, she's like, I'm sorry, are you talking to us? And I'm like, I'm talking about some fucking, I don't even remember what the fuck, but like clearly not anything that had to do with like what I would talk about, what I would like ask someone at the store or whatever like that. So I can, like, she was like so fucking confused. So I will be prepared for more of those. But you know what? It's fine. It's fine, because, you know, people will get used to it. And thankfully, I don't really get embarrassed that easily. I know I've said that on the pod before. Where am I headed with that? Well, I mean, like, oh, man. Fuck. First, it's honestly a tradition at this point. Losing my train of thought. Just that's me. That's me. Anyways, I don't know. Just, you know, it's funny getting these the glasses and all the trials and tribulations that come along with it. I do have to say, though, they do look good. At least I think so, at least. And it's a big upgrade from my last pair. My last pair were like these cheap little fucking glasses I got for like $20 on a website called Zenni, which that's no shade to Zenni. Zenni's a great website if you're looking for just a nice, cheap, affordable pair of glasses. By all means, go for it, right? They did the job. They served their purpose. But I really wanted these Meta glasses, and I got them. Yeah, there's this sort of like, I don't know, confidence that comes along with having these glasses. It's a weird thing, but like, try it out. I seriously recommend it. Like, I mean, they have them at like a ton of different grocery stores, fucking stores. Like, I think Best Buy sells them. Like, I got these at like an actual glasses store. Try them out. They're super fucking cool. They're just mad expensive. Holy frickin' frack. Most I've ever spent on a pair of glasses, literally ever. Like, we're talking like $1,000. Thankfully, insurance covered most of it, but there's still some I had to pay out of pocket. But you know what? It's worth it, because I got a nice pair of glasses as a result. Yes. Doing something very crazy today. I think I've done this before, but I'm doing it again. Maybe it's the first time, don't know. But I have absolutely zero motherfucking notes for the pod. And you know what? I might honestly try doing this for any other time that I have a solo episode. I know I had a solo episode last week, doing it again this week. Being completely and totally transparent with y'all, life has been absolutely fucking hectic. Beyond so many fucking levels recently, so that's taken a lot of my time. Without getting into specifics, I well, leaving a job that I was at. I don't know if I've mentioned it, but honestly, it's not really that important. It was a company that I was working for that I really did not enjoy the job. It was stressing me out fucking constantly just for my own personal reasons. But yeah, I was there for like 3 fucking years, and it was always this thing of I was so stressed, and I never felt like there was a way out. I could never see the light at the end of the tunnel. And then I just started applying for jobs again. I got fortunate enough to find another job. Start that next week. So it's worked out in the fucking best way possible. So let me actually tell this story here. There was this one day at my previous job now. I was just having an absolute shitty fucking day. Horrible day. Okay? I go on my break. I FaceTime my mom. Middle of my workday, by the way. FaceTime my mom. And I'm literally, like, I'm on the verge of tears, and I'm like, holy, like, I'm gonna have a fucking mental breakdown, I'm telling her. Alright, like, this shit's about to go down. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I didn't want to get to that point. But keep in mind, this is like a thing that has been building and manifesting for quite some time. So it was getting like this fucking close to like my breaking point. So my mom on the phone tells me to, hang up with her right now. Go talk to my boss and tell them, about what's going on. And so that's exactly what I did. That was very difficult to do. Because, I've talked previously before about being vulnerable, right? And keep in mind, like I said, I was at this point in tears because, yes, admittingly, I am a very emotional person and I cry pretty easily. Anyone that really knows me knows that. Here and there, right? It depends on who I'm with. Yeah, anyways, so I'm like all like this fucking blubbery mess coming back from my break, and I'm like, I go straight to the fucking back where the fucking manager was, and I'm just like, hey, I just need to talk to you. Like, they're just not going good. And keep in mind, like, this is the first time I'm really ever bringing it up. Yeah, I tell her just all these things, I'm just not enjoying this. I'm being stressed out constantly, just all the details, right? So then we had discussed this thing called a LOA, or a leave of absence. I'm sure people know about that. I mean, if you don't, that's pretty much just like an extended period of time that you don't go into work. It's pretty much just like a long break, right? Which can last like, I think it's like up to like a month or something like that. I wanted to do that first because like I didn't have a job lined up, and unfortunately in this wonderful economy that we live in, you kind of need a job. You kind of do. Because if you don't, well, you're kind of fucked, because the bills that you have to pay, those people don't exactly have much of an understanding. I wish I could tell my credit card company, for example, hey, look, I'm in between jobs, I can't pay this month. It would be so fucking nice if they just be like, oh, we understand, don't worry, get us next month, right? Maybe you'll have to pay a little bit more next month, but like, it'd be nice to have that grace period, that understanding. But nope. I remember talking to my mom about this a little while ago. It's just, how fucking ridiculous is it that in this, like, in just today's, like, in the world today, it just feels like, well, I mean, first off, nothing is free. Now, and I understand that, like, I'm not looking for handouts, but it just feels like everybody has their hands out for money. It's just like they don't care about anything. Just money. Give me money. Money, 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 money. Right? We all want money. Okay? But, like, my frustration is that if it is pretty fucking difficult to be making the money to begin with, but then everybody's just like, pay me money, pay me money, pay me, right? And for the optional fucking things, like the subscriptions, like we're talking like Netflix, fucking Spotify, whatever, those optional things that like you pay for at your own leisure. I don't know if you would say it like that, but just your own choice for doing that, right? That I can see, someone being like, hey, well, you might have to cut down on that, right? Because if you just can't afford it, you don't really need those things, right? But like we're talking about like rent. If someone is struggling to pay their rent, right? Like I'll use the example of like, so first off, I've had this like weird sort of hypothetical circling my mind for like such a long time, and I always think that like if I was the leader of a country, first and foremost, I would never want to be the leader of a country, like a prime minister or a president, whatever, right? I'm interested in politics, but not to the extent of wanting to become a politician. But I've thought of this hypothetical situation where I was the leader, right? Prime minister, president, and I was thinking like how I would rule the country. Rule, that sounds so fucking dictator like. Donald Trump. No, we're not going to get there. Not yet, at least. But no, what? Fuck. I made a joke and I lost the train of thought again. Good job, Jordan. It's almost like I think I'm a professional speaker or something like that. I'm not though. No, but if I say hypothetically I was the leader of Canada, the prime minister of Canada, right? And yes, I will say before people start fucking jumping at my throat and shit, right? I understand there's a lot that goes into it, okay? But let's just pretend that things were just as simple as it sounds, okay? My point is, getting to my point finally after 626 years, if I was the prime minister, for example, I would completely get rid of minimum wage. And instead, that minimum wage would now become the cost of living. I don't understand how fucking hard that is to understand. Because let's break it down, shall we? Let's break it down. The cost of living, okay? That means that number is how much you need to make, how much money you need to make in order to live. The cost of living. Okay, so for example, the cost of living in Toronto and Ontario as a whole, right? I think it's like something like $26 an hour. I could be wrong. It's something around there, right? But the minimum wage is only like $17.20. So we're talking like an $8-ish difference. $8 to $10. I don't understand the justification there, right? And maybe if somehow there's like an economist that's fucking watching this episode, or if it reaches an economist of some sort, like, please, explain to me the reasoning here. Because if you have this number, $26 an hour, for example, again, it could be different numbers, I don't know, but that's just the numbers we're going with, right? If that's how much it costs to live at least semi-comfortably, well, that fucking solves it right there. Right there. Right? it shouldn't even be up for discussion, no debates. If that's how much it costs, then that's how much people should be getting. Bare fucking minimum. Okay? Now, I will say that maybe if you're a student, like in high school, right? High school specifically, not college students, because they have rent to pay as well. High school students a little bit different, right? Because usually if you're in high school, you're getting a job. It's just a little part-time little thing just to see what it's like to start making money. Maybe you don't need the cost of living for that. Okay, so maybe we don't fully get rid of the minimum wage. This cord is pissing me off. We don't fully get rid of the minimum wage, but we only limit that to high school students, right? Because they don't need to be paying all these bills. Like, I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing out ideas there. But, like, I'm just saying that, like, if you are a hardworking individual, there is no fucking reason in this day and age that anyone should be struggling financially. That is bullshit. That is bullshit, and that is actually fucking pathetic to think about as a nation. Canada, US, whatever the country is, because the problems happen in both countries. I'm going to admit, I'm not the biggest on geography. I don't know a ton about what goes on across the pond. We're talking in like Europe and shit, right? I don't know how the cost of living goes there, but Canada and US particularly, I know that shit it's going down, right? Prices go up, wages don't. Oh, like fucking the 50-cent raise that we get every year. Oh, that's real helpful. Yeah, it's awesome. You know what's even fucked? Is even more fucked. It's like there would be an employer. I'm not talking about mine because I'm not trying to get all fucking fired. I'm talking about just any employer, right? Isn't it convenient, the fact that a lot of times they'll be like, oh yeah, we're giving you a 60-cent raise or something like that, right? But then that's conveniently at the time when minimum wage is going up by like, let's say 50 cents. So realistically, you're only getting a 10-cent raise. Wow, that's really feeding families right there. Like, can we use our brains for just a sec here, please? That'd be much appreciated. Yeah, I'm getting a little arrogant. Apologies. What the fuck? I do speak English, I promise. I apologize, is what I meant to say. Yeah, that's my rant session. I don't know. I want to kind of talk about more random shit because, I don't know. That's just the vibe. That's just the vibe. That's what's going on here today. I got this new outfit yesterday. You can't see the pants, but it's matching pants. All like this color. I like to think, especially with like my beanie, glasses, and the outfit, I look like a music producer. I'm not a music producer by any means. I don't know how to work those softwares. But it just seems very like, or even just like a creative individual, which I am. I'm very creative. I love being like expressing and bringing emotion into things. Like, for example, like so before I became an actor, I was really, 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 really into like behind the scenes stuff, particularly like camera work and video editing. Like not necessarily visual effects, a little bit into effects, but primarily like just the actual creation of like putting a scene together, right? Because you have, for example, say if it's like, I don't know, two people talking, right? You'll have a camera. This is going to be so hard to visualize, but like you have a camera point facing one person, you have another camera facing the next person, right? And you usually have at least one overhead like boom microphone. Sometimes you have two microphones, but it's just cool. This is just my brain and like how it fucking works. Is I love having this jumbled up mess of raw footage, right? That's not color graded, not anything, right? And then throughout the process, throughout the video editing process, right, it turns into this cinematic masterpiece. Now, I mean, that's more for like, I don't know, crazy visual effects scenes. Sounded like I said sex scenes. That's not what I meant to say. Maybe that's what I just thought I heard. I don't know. Maybe I just have a fucking dirty mind. Don't we all? I don't know. Yeah. I just love like that process of like creating and starting with that jumbled up mess and just enjoying the process of seeing it all turn into something beautiful. You know? That kind of reminds me of like sort of like a different topic, but like the different. There I go, over explaining again. Basically, what I'm saying is just trusting the process, right? So you can. What I was saying about like you get this jumbled up mess, it throughout the process it turns into this beautiful creation, right? You can really relate that to life itself, right? Because sometimes your life is a jumbled up mess. It then turns into this beautiful outcome, this beautiful ending, whatever, right? Beautiful result, okay? But how you get from this jumbled up mess to this beautiful result is by trusting the process and enjoying the moment, okay? I'll be completely and totally honest with you. Before I recorded this episode, right here, right now, I was at a therapy session. I was talking to my therapist, and I was literally saying that same thing about, like I was explaining about a few years ago when I really started to become intact. Is that what you say? Intact with my spirituality side of things in terms of like manifestation, meditation, that type of deal, right? This was, back in like 2021 when I really started to learn a lot about that, and ever since then, I haven't looked back. And I must say that it has absolutely changed my life. I know I've talked about manifestation here on the pod before, so I'm not really going to get too in detail with it, but I'll just kind of briefly touch on what I had discussed this morning with my therapist. I was just saying, because she had asked me if someone had come up to me and asked how they can deal with their stress, okay, what would I do? What are the steps that I would take to help them get out of this stress, or to handle the stress, right? And I had I'd said that I would recommend everybody to start meditating. Sounds pretty, like, I don't know if you would consider that to be like a feminine thing to do, and not a ton of guys do it, but to be honest, bro, like, this whole like needing to act all macho and like manly is just so fucking just ridiculous to me. It's so outdated. Okay. We are all humans. Okay. I don't know if I've already brought this up in this recording or not. But I mean, me as an individual, I will proudly say that I am very emotional. I think I might have brought this up, but I don't know. I'm going to say it again. I love repeating myself, you know. But yeah, I cry easily, and I really don't think there's a problem with that, because believe it or fucking not, crying is fucking healthy. It gets those emotions out, right? Because I mean, along with me being like emotional, I'm very what do you call it? I'm very fuck, where is it going? I hate that. I hope I'm not alone on that with the losing the train of thought. Like, I don't know. I was talking about being emotional and everything like that. It's just it's important. Oh yes, there it is. I'm a mental health advocate. Sorry, I wish I was better at speaking, but I'm working on it. I truly am. And I think this sort of like the mental health stuff kind of goes hand in hand with being emotional, because it's really good for your mental health to let out the emotions, obviously in the right situation, the right environment, right? I'm not going to have a fucking mental breakdown in the middle of fucking Walmart, because then I'm looked like a fucking crazy idiot. Okay? But fuck, you know how many fucking times I have, not necessarily on the couch, but like fucking wherever, just you bury your fucking face in a pillow and you just scream. Sometimes that's fucking good. Or I mean, what I'll tell anyone, get into boxing, not necessarily to fight another person. Like if you have those interests down the line, well, absolutely, right? Do whatever you fucking want. But I'm talking about just hitting a fucking bag, because I always tell people that, of course, violence is not the answer, but I have to be fucking honest. If you're fucking pissed about something, right? Like, say you just had a fucking shitty day. Your boss told you some fucking terrible news. Okay? It feels so just... Oh, what's the word? Like, just... relieving? I don't know. I don't know if I'm using this word right, but invigorating? Yes, I think I'm using that right. To hit the bag. Oop, the camera is being weird there. But it just feels so fucking good to just punch. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what I recommend. But in terms of mental health stuff, of course, I mean, we have all just recently learned the news of the passing of that Dallas Cowboys player. I'm terrible. I think it's Marshawn Nealand. Terribly sorry if I said that wrong. I believe that was his name. But it had, it's been released that the cause of his death was a self-inflicted. He had ended his life. I don't want to go into fucking too many details there, but obviously that, like, in due to that, to finding that out, that has obviously sparked more mental health talk. And I mean, I think it's a good thing to talk about mental health, but I wish that it wasn't just talked about due to someone ending their own life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it shouldn't be, oh, just because this happened, let's talk about this. It should just be like, let's talk about this, regardless on what happened. You know? It's definitely getting better, for sure. But we as a society, right, as a population, humans, mental health is health. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Mental health is health. Okay? Going back to the hypothetical of me being the leader of Canada, the Prime Minister, right? One of the other things I would do is prioritize mental health support. Okay? So I would require, and again, yes, I'm talking hypothetical here, okay? I'm not saying this is what I have plans to do in the future, or right, because I understand that there's a lot more that goes into it. But hypothetically speaking, I'm the leader of Canada. I would require every single employer, okay, the federal government, provincial government, fucking any company, to require, or not require, to offer like mental health support more than just like counseling. Because I will speak for myself, like in times when I've been fucking stressed due to the job, right? Like many people, sometimes there's been times where I've called in sick because I was just that fucking stressed and I just needed that day to rest and recover. That's not because I'm just some fucking lazy fuck and I would rather just sit on my ass playing video games and then go into work, right? But it's because I needed to take care of my mental health. And I think that it's quite sad that in today's day and age, when mental health, like, it's just, how can we go from like, oh yeah, mental health is so important, take care of your mental health, yada, 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 yada. But then when someone actually goes to take care of their mental health, they have to lie and say that they got a cold, right? No, it should just be, hey, look, I'm fucking stressed. I need to take a mental health day, right? End of fucking story. No questions asked. And I think there are some companies that are better than others. But yeah, hypothetically speaking, if I was the leader of whatever country, right? Yeah, I would definitely make it so that mental health was actually like treated the same way as health. Because in a lot of cases, we can't, like, I mean, we can control how we deal with stress, but we can't control whether we get stressed or not. That just happens, you know? And honestly, like, stress can happen in so many different scenarios. It can happen at work. It can happen in your personal life, right? But regardless on what the reason is, I just truly feel that it should be treated the same way as being sick, right? Because, I mean, generally speaking, at least here in Canada, when you call in sick to a workplace, you just say you're sick. They actually can't legally ask you what your symptoms are, because it's like, I could be saying this wrong. My parents watching this will hopefully confirm for me when I talk to them next, when they see this episode. I think it's a thing called FIA-FIPA. Sounds funny, but it's this thing where basically it's your privacy rights. I'm not sure if it's a thing in America, but certainly here in Canada, I believe. Anyways, it's this thing, yeah, FIA-FIPA. An employer cannot ask you, like, what are your symptoms? Like, or like, pretty much ask you, like, are you actually sick, right? I think we as individuals, we as humans should comfortably and fucking without worry be able to call into work and, like I said, not lie that we're sick, but say, I need to take care of my fucking mental health. Because we all do. Because if you don't take care of your mental health, a lot of bad shit can happen. And I'm not going to get into specifics there, but I'm sure you know what I mean. Talk about your fucking issues. It's, I cannot stress enough how important that is. one thing I will kind of add on to there is it's actually one of my future goals that I like. I mean, as much as I advocate for mental health already, I actually want to become. I want to be like as well. Like mainly, I want to be known as an actor, podcaster, right? That type of deal, right? Creative, as a whole, right? But on like as well as that, I would love to be able to do like mental health like seminar things, like public speaking, talking in front of a crowd, just like the importance about how fucking important mental health is. Because I think that just we've become so conditioned to kind of pushing those feelings down, right? Or like sort of trying to reason with ourselves to make it seem like we shouldn't be doing these things, or like we shouldn't. I'm rambling. Basically, like we shouldn't feel the need to have to hide and not talk about shit, because the way we as humans, the way we feel, the way we act and everything like that, that's it, right? There's no right or wrong way to do that. Okay? And if someone needs that support, that mental health support, right? Like there needs to be more. It needs to be less of a thing of like, let's talk about this because this tragic event just happened, and it's more or less just like a let's talk about this because it's important, right? Just like fucking we talk about, I don't know, other important shit like medical stuff, right? That's more socially acceptable, I'll say, because it's more familiar, it's more like known, and in some cases it can be looked at as more important. Now, I mean, no, I'm not going to go to the extent of saying that like if someone fucking breaks their arm, right? It's not even really a thing of like ranking it and like different importance levels. Like someone breaking their arm is no more important than someone going through mental health issues, and vice versa, right? Someone going through mental health issues is not any more important than someone like breaking their arm. Does that make sense? Right? Like when you say it the other way, like that last way I just said it, it kind of sounds like fucked up. But the point I'm getting at is, like I said, mental health is health. So it shouldn't be treated as this like crazy thing, right? If someone opens up and starts talking about how they feel, right, we shouldn't like treat them any differently or make them feel like they're some social fucking outcast. Like, because guess fucking what? We are all humans, and even though we are all unique and different in our own fucking ways, we are all the same in a lot of ways as well, right? And I think that's very important for everyone to know, that like if you're ever going through something, whether it be some fucking stress of some sort, right? 99.9% sure, like 99% fact, or fuck, I can't think of the word, that you are not the only person going through that. Right? So I was just dealing with some fucking crazy stress at work. Yeah, says everyone ever. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, like it sucks going through that shit, and I'm not saying, fucking, grow some balls and fucking deal with it, be a man, right? Because that would literally be contradicting everything that I've said so far about mental health. But yeah, I don't know. It's really as simple as that. It's mental health is health. It should be treated at the same importance. So, like, I don't know how they would deal with that. I was going to say, like, there should be like a special department in a hospital where someone could go for, like, mental health support. But, like, I mean, that just kind of sounds like a mental institute. But that's kind of my point, right? If someone has chronic mental health shit, right? Like, their only resource should not be a fucking mental institute, right? Or, I mean, yes, there's the National Suicide Prevention Hotline 988. And, like, yeah, that's, like, it's great that that's a resource, but, like, I don't know. I mean, I could be just being, like, unrealistic or whatever, but as someone who has gone through mental health issues myself, I think that's a big reason why I think that mental health is so important, because I don't know, I understand where people are coming from. So yeah, anyone watching this or listening to this podcast, feel free to reach out to your loved ones, your friends, your real friends, that is. You know, there's always people out there. And if you have absolutely no one, you know, fucking, there's resources, is what I'm saying. But there should be more. Kind of sounds contradictory. I don't know. But I hope that I'm, well, that was a bad stutter. I was just saying, I hope that the things that I've said have shown through. Because I just, yeah, like I said, I cannot stress the importance enough. Shifting gears, yeah, I mean, I know we're quite a bit of ways into the episode here, but, you know, as I was talking about it, admittingly enough, I have to, like, I just have to say that I was kind of just really, like, looking at the background and looking at just the frame itself that you're watching, right? And I was thinking a lot about this background here. As some people may not know, I was the one that painted that. I did that all by myself. I'm very proud of it because it looks good, and it looks actually, or sorry, it was actually very easy. All I did was painted the whole wall white. That's how you got those, like, white lines everywhere, right? Painted the whole wall white. And then I put painter's tape, that green tape, all over the wall in those, like, in that way, right? Making those shapes, okay? And then I just filled them in. I either put purple or I put black, right? I think I might have talked about this before. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. I don't remember. But the reason why I chose this color scheme is because, well, way back when, well, I shouldn't say that, but, like, I don't know, maybe 5 or so years ago. Yeah, about then, because I was, like, 18 at the time. I was I really wanted to be a full-time Twitch streamer. And for those who don't know, Twitch is a website that's owned by Amazon, and it's a live streaming platform. Very popular for people to play video games on it live, or they'll do, like, they call it IRL content, which just stands for in real life. It's just like someone carrying around a camera in public and just streaming their day. Sounds a little fucking like on paper, that sounds like that. Why the fuck would I want to watch that? Like, I don't care. But surprisingly enough, it's actually quite entertaining. But yeah, I used to stream on Twitch, and I had this whole idea, because what had happened is, so this is my bedroom in my well, my parents' house, technically. Not technically, I don't know what I meant by that, but whatever. But I used to be in a different room And when we were renovating, kind of like slowly but surely, right? I had the opportunity to paint this room however I wanted, right? So it was kind of like perfect timing because this was like when I was really getting into Twitch. So I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna deck this all out in like Twitch colors, and I'm gonna have this whole like Twitch studio, and I'm gonna get super famous on Twitch, and the rest is history. Well, I mean, let's just say right off the hop that did not go as planned. Not because I gave it a try. That's actually quite the opposite. I streamed on Twitch for a while, and like the creation. Sorry, I'm like itching my ear. That was a little gross, but whatever. The creation of this room, like it took some time because life happens, right? But basically, long story short, I happened to finish this room the way it looks now pretty much when I was like, yeah, this Twitch thing ain't for me. Yeah, and I haven't streamed on Twitch in well over a year, I'd say. I actually don't know how long it's been, but it's been a while. I don't regret stopping it. I think it was good for the time that it lasted. I think I can say the same thing about making YouTube videos, because even before the Twitch streaming, and we're talking when I was like 15, 16, right? I used to really like making YouTube videos. Like we're talking like fully edited and whatever, like YouTube videos. It started out as vlogs, and holy fuck, I don't know if that Jesus, did the fucking Meta glasses that's so funny. I got a text just now, and like fucking I don't like, it's crazy. I don't know. I heard, wow. I was just so taken back by that. Because it spoke in the fucking glasses speaker, so I heard it, but I don't know if it picked it up on the microphone. Anyways, wow, that was a surprise. But what the fuck I was talking about? Holy shit, that just like blew my mind. I was like, all of a sudden I was talking, and then just like the fucking glasses were speaking to me. This will take some getting used to, for sure. No, I was talking about like YouTube videos and shit. I was like 15, started out making these vlogs. I don't know how I did it because, but I mean, I shouldn't say that because like at the time, vlogging was like all the fucking rage. Like we're talking like, you know, if anyone knows who the Shaytards are, like Roman Atwood, a bunch of others. Vlogging was so the trend, right? So I remember being this kid that like really wanted to be successful in the vlogging world, and yeah, I would just vlog myself doing whatever, right? You know, that's actually funny that I'm now just thinking about it. Just ain't it funny how social media has changed throughout the years? It used to be something that was so like nonchalant, right? Like people would post about fucking anything. Like I'm talking about like Instagram, YouTube, right? We were talking about YouTube just now, like I was, whatever. I say we because you know what? Like I'm talking right to you, viewer, listener, right? I'm talking right to you. Anyways, but I'll use the example as the first YouTube video, and I believe it's something called like me at the zoo or something like that. And I think it's like it's some sort of YouTube person, like YouTube worker. I can't remember who it is, but it's some sort of person, and it's literally like a 20-second video. Someone's holding the camera, pointing at pointing it at the guy, right? And he's like, I am at the zoo, or fucking, he's like saying like there's like elephants behind me or some shit, right? And it's like just so funny to think that like that was how YouTube started, and now you got like people like Mr. Beast or like, I don't know, Dude Perfect, right? Where their production standards are so high, like to the point of like it's the same as like TV, right? Like I'll use Mr. Beast as an example, that he literally had his own show on Prime Video, right? Insane, right? And and you can use the fucking, I don't know, I shouldn't say insane because that just sounds dramatic, but you know what I mean? Like Instagram as well. Think about it, like people used to post like just random fucking selfies without a caption, and that was it. And people would press the like button or leave a comment or whatever, right? But I feel like now, at least for me, I don't know if this is how other people feel, but like I rarely post on Instagram, just because I feel like you have to have a reason to post on there, And I mean, that's just like my thoughts, right? If there's anyone out there that just kind of like still likes to post on Instagram just for the hell of it, by all means, you do you, right? Like live your life. But for me, it's this sort of thing, and maybe it's just because I care about my public image so much. I don't know. Not insinuating that I don't mean to insinuate that like someone like who just posts whatever doesn't care about their public image. But I mean, I just like to put a lot of thought into, like, if I know that that anyone in the world can see this thing that I'm going to share on social media, right? Share with the world, right? I like to put thought into it. You can say the same type of thing with the podcast. There was a lot of thought that went into the creation of the podcast, in terms of what I actually talk about. That this is my, like I've said this before, I'm sure, but it goes based on like the name, off the record. It allows me to speak my mind and say and talk about shit that I wouldn't normally talk about on anywhere else. It's more of like a this is me, this is who I am type vibe. But yeah, it's just kind of funny to think just how things have changed. I would say it's for the best, but in some cases, maybe not. Because before, when people would just post a selfie without any context or anything like that, right? I think social media was more of a healthy thing. It was just like a cool thing, you could share it with your friends, and like all of a sudden fucking, I don't know. I don't remember there being anything sort of bad or negative about that. I definitely do see like that sort of defining moment of when social media started becoming this toxic fakeness, because, and this is not, calling anyone out. I'm not referring to anyone in specific here, but for the people that like to, how do I word this? Like to post about things that maybe like to glamorize their life, right? Like make them seem like they live this fucking like fantabulous, amazing life, and it's for the quote unquote average person, it doesn't really make them feel that great, or I mean, in some cases, I guess it doesn't make them feel that great because, well, you see this person that's like living this lavish life, right, on a fucking yacht or something like that, right? And meanwhile, the average person is like clocking into their 9-to-5 job, right? But I mean, the reality is, you know, like that person that maybe took those photos on Instagram, like on their fucking yacht or on their private jet or whatever the fucking crazy scenario is, right? Most fucking likely, and I'm very confident when I say this, their life is like the same as yours, but they just don't show those things. They just don't show those parts, right? Yeah. Social media can be a good thing, but it's also it's definitely throughout the years taken a turn. I wouldn't say for the worse, but it's taken a pretty dark turn, unfortunately. I love social media though. That was a weird segue. Like, I like social media for the fact that it's, it can be a positive, uplifting place where people can resonate with others and feel seen and feel heard and everything like that, right? And like for the good, like funny videos or funny whatever, like, you know what I mean, like that type of stuff, like funny like TikToks or like Instagram reels, right? There's nothing really wrong with that, because that's the reality of like what entertainment is nowadays, unfortunately, like we as humans, we have a pretty fucking short attention span. So I can definitely see why TikTok has like started this whole movement of like short form content. Because if I'm not mistaken, when TikTok was like new, it was either a 15-second video or a 60-second. It was something like that. Some sort of like, it was a maximum of 60 seconds. And people started posting on there like crazy. Of course, it started with those fucking cringe ass like dances and everything like that. And you know what? I'll fucking say that. They're cringe. Okay? And if anyone fucking disagrees with me, fucking go pout in the corner. Okay? I'm pointing, but it's over there. Corner's over there. No, but I mean, the point is that TikTok started this whole fucking movement, this whole, I don't know, the whole trend of short form content. And obviously it worked, because shortly after that, or after TikTok, you had Instagram Reels. I think that was the next one, right? Instagram/Facebook Reels, right? Then you had YouTube Shorts. That fucking blew up, right? But you know what's funny to think about? Right? Now on TikTok, you can post videos that are up to, I believe, 10 minutes long. So, like, gets you wondering, is that long form content coming back? Because if TikTok became what it is, right? If TikTok became TikTok for the reason of short form content, why the fuck can you post videos that are up to 10 minutes long? It could be even longer than 10 minutes. I don't know. This is weird to think about. Like, are people's attention spans like actually improving? I don't know. Like, I mean, and that gets you thinking about podcasts even, right? Like, what is the percentage of people that watched this episode from the beginning to the end? Probably a pretty fucking low number, but I don't know. I mean, me specifically, when I listen to a podcast, more oftentimes than not, I listen to it in chunks, right? It's hard to listen or watch a podcast like right from start to finish, because in most cases they're at least an hour long. Sometimes if it's like a super entertaining podcast, like I'll do that, but I don't know. I don't know if that's like my attention span. You know what? It is. It's my attention span. And that reminds me about the loveliness. It's hard to think of words sometimes, but I'm talking about movie theaters. The reason why I bring that up is, so I was thinking not too long ago about when I go to the movies to watch a movie, obviously, um, I feel like I am like thoroughly engaged that whole time watching the movie, right? But like if I'm at home watching a movie on Netflix, you know, occasionally I'll pick up the phone, look at my notifications, I'll end up fucking doom scrolling on fucking Instagram or TikTok, right? My attention span is gone, and next thing I know, I've missed half the movie, right? It's interesting to think that, like, so why is it, like, based on our environment, we act different? I don't know, that sounds like a weird way to put it, but, like I was just saying, if I'm at home, why do I get the urge to look at my phone and, lose that attention towards the movie I put on, right? But if I'm at the movie theater, I'm there, I'm watching it, right? I got the popcorn in my hand and I'm enjoying the moment, right? Like I've thought about it, like maybe it's because you've taken the time out of your day and you've made that commitment to sit down and watch this movie, like you've paid money to do this, right? If sure, you pay for Netflix, but like it's not like I have to pay to watch every single movie. So maybe that's a thing, right? It feels like it's like maybe not as much of a commitment, which again sounds so dramatic, right? Like it's not really a commitment to watch a movie, but in some cases it is, right? Like if you, like I said, you pay that money, why the fuck else would you pay to watch a movie if you're not going to watch the fucking movie, right? Not unless you just like to waste money, which, if you do, you're weird. No judgment, of course. Live your life the way that you want, as long as you're not hurting anybody. Yeah. But, a little interesting to think about. It's like attention spans all of a sudden increase when you're at the movie theaters, but maybe that's why they say that the movies, like people going to the movies, has dramatically dropped. Like, dude, in COVID, I thought for sure that we're seeing the end of movie theaters, right? Because think about, like, almost no one, I don't know, there's very little people actually going to the theater, right? Because we were in quarantine, right? So all the streaming platforms flourished. They saw a dramatic increase in their user base, right? Whereas, fucking people going to the movie is like nothing. And you kind of made sense why, because, well, you couldn't even go out in public damn near. Like, fuck, I remember in the prime fucking parts of COVID when it was like the worst, no vaccine was fucking out there or anything like that. It was just people were getting sick all the time, right? Like the gym I go to, I remember like you had to like book sessions ahead of time just to go to the gym. Like you pretty much had to let them know that you wanted to go to the gym from this time to this time. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, you even had to fucking like wear a mask while working out. I don't want to sound like an anti-masker, but I have to admit I'm a little bit of one. Just a little bit. I can proudly say that I was always someone that wore my mask, right? I was never one of those fucking Karens that walked into a fucking store without their fucking mask and causing all this fucking havoc for the other people in the store. That reminds me, I'm doing so good right now with the fucking thoughts and trail of thoughts. I'm not going to stop. I'm good. In the heart of COVID, I worked at this local grocery store here in the city, and there was this one woman who consistently came in without a mask. And again, this is at the time when COVID was like the worst of the fucking worst. We didn't know much about it, right? There was no anything about it. So like me as someone, and I think most people, right, if there's this deadly fucking virus going around, right, even though I don't like wearing the fucking mask, I'm gonna fucking wear it because I don't want to fucking die from this virus that's going around that, like, we have no idea, like, anything about it, right? But yeah, there's this woman that always came in consistently, and she would only grab, like, fucking a few things at a time, but, like, still, right? So, like, you can argue on one side that, like, oh, well, if she was just in there for like 5 minutes, well, does it really matter if she had her mask on, right? But you can also fucking argue on the other side of things that if you're only in there for 5 fucking minutes, you can deal with fucking putting the mask on for 5 minutes, because newsflash, I had to have my mask on for like the fucking 8 hours that I was there, right? So I don't know. I remember like dealing with that fucking woman, and like, dude, like, anytime you saw her fucking pulling up, you just knew she was gonna be a bitch. She's gonna be a bitch. And like I said, nowadays, not a fucking chance I'm wearing a mask, right? Because it's not mandated, and COVID has been controlled, right? It's still a thing, but like, there's obviously, like, it's been dealt with for the most part, right? So no, like, I'm not someone that would wear a mask nowadays. Back then, yes, of course, 100%, because there was an outbreak that we didn't know anything about. I mean, for those people that still wear masks nowadays, again, no judgment, kind of. Live your life the way you want, as long as you're not hurting anybody. That's really all there is to it. But, I mean, if I see someone wearing a fucking mask and a fucking face shield and everything like that, like nowadays, no, I'm not gonna say anything, but I'm gonna be thinking shit. Okay? Sorry, hate to say it, but, you know, that's just my opinion, right? I'm gonna be thinking, what the fuck? Like, move on. You know what I'm saying? I think what a lot of people don't fucking realize is that, like, when you get sick, for example, your body naturally builds antibodies, right? In fact, that's how the COVID vaccine worked, right? I don't know exactly what it's called. I think it was mDNA. I'm not a medical professional or anything like that, so I don't know for sure. But I think it was something like that. And basically it was like, because if anyone remembers, for those that did get vaccines, I'm not going to be a vaccine pusher anyway. Like, do what you want, right? But for those that got the vaccine, you may have remembered that you got quite sick for a short period of time after taking the vaccine. That is because your body naturally builds those, what they call antibodies. Okay, I guess I shouldn't be talking about this so confidently because I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I have the right understanding of it, where like your body builds these antibodies, and then it pretty much prepares your body for the next time that you get that virus, right? So I don't know if like the fucking, maybe the vaccines had like small ass fucking like doses of like COVID in it. I don't know, right? But then again, it gets you thinking, how the fuck would they have gotten that COVID? I'm going down the conspiracy route. I was going to say, like, is COVID this manufactured thing? I'm not going to say that. I don't know if it is or not. Maybe it is, and that's not for me to say. It is interesting. I don't know. Like, what did they put in there in that fucking vaccine that made you sick, that then built those antibodies? I don't know. But I mean, for the most part, I think it worked out. I have heard of some scary instances where people have this sort of like these effects afterwards, like face paralysis of some kind. I don't know. Like I said, I shouldn't be talking too much about that because I don't know for sure. But That's just my 2 cents on it. I don't know how I ended up talking about that. I don't even know. That's kind of the beauty of like a solo episode, is that it allows me just to kind of ramble on. I hope I make sense, and I hope the words that I'm saying are enjoyable to listen to. But for those that have stuck around right to the end, or if you watched it in short little chunks, as I would, I appreciate you. With that all being said, though, I think that will do it for the episode. You can follow the show on Instagram at Off the Record with Jordan Rance. Of course, here on YouTube, subscribe for the video versions of podcasts. If you would like to see the video version of the podcast go on Spotify, please do let me know, like I said, either by leaving a comment here on YouTube or on Spotify, or send me a DM on Instagram, either on my personal account at Jordan Rance, or on the podcast account at Off the Record with Jordan Rance, like I already said. New episodes every single Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. I'll see you next week. We got some guests lined up, coming up, which is always more exciting than a solo episode, but the solo episodes are good as well. I hope you all have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you next week. I'm out of here. Bye.